Hello again. We're now in our third week of the lockdown from the coronavirus, and it's amazing how people are managing to keep a brave face on it. I just had a call from Dr. Pete, and he seems quite cheerful. I really hope it'll all be finished by the end of the month, though, and say 3 weeks from now it'll be all gone. But however, today I'm going to talk about the Union Trans Tasman, which a ship I was on way back in 1976, 2 years after I emigrated to New Zealand. It had 3 hatches. It was a bulk carrier, 5,000 tons, and it was about 300 feet long. Top speed of around about 12 knots, well, 11 knots maybe. And I used to run backwards and forwards across the Tasman to Aussie with bulk cargo, so like rolls of newsprint or even, grain or anything, Anyway, we were coming back from Aussie, and Estelle's actually remembered the date, or got it written down. It's the 19th of May, 1976. And we just come back, I think it was from Sydney, I'm not sure, but we'd arrived back in Auckland. And I was the first mate, and Billy Lyons, a guy called Billy Lyons, who actually I was flatting with at the time, he was the third mate. And he was up in the bows when we were coming into port, and I was on the bridge with the captain. And the captain's name I remember was a guy called Alex Lang, a young, very self-assured, confident captain, a little bit cocky, and he hadn't been a captain for very long, and he was still only young. He was only sort of, about early to mid-30s. And we got a pilot, and we went in, and we were going to go alongside the old Captain Cook wharf, I think it was. And we went in head first, and we were going to tie up on the starboard side. And he actually decided he wanted the tug to go down aft, which is quite unusual. Normally, if you only have one tug, it goes up front, because that's where you want it to maneuver. There's no bow thruster in these days, so you wanted the tug up front to sort of to be able to push the bow in or pull the bow out and stuff. And it was against the advices of the pilot. So anyway, Alex Lang came hurtling in, and he didn't allow for the tide. And the tide was a strong tide heading up water. It was a flood tide, and the tide, of course, went under these wharfs. And he was going too fast anyway. He's too cocksure. And he went in, and he was heading for the to the end of the wharf, and he was going to try to leave it obviously starboard side, but the current had got him, and he couldn't do anything about it. And because the tug was down aft, the tug couldn't pull the bow out because it was down aft, and he went to hardest port, but just nothing would happen quick enough, and the bow went straight into the wharf, and he was still doing a good maybe 5-6 knots. And the first thing happened was a sort of great sheet of water, spout of water came up from the bow area, and of course Billy Lyon and the sailors had already run off the wharf, and then Billy screamed into his VHF, we're sinking, all this water coming up. So it was a bit of a panic, and the pilot, took over, after that, and we managed to reverse out of the wharf. We put the ship alongside, and we all went ashore and had a look. And it was just like somebody had just taken a great big neat slice or chunk out from the forecastle head, right back about 20 feet, like an open mouth. All the front had been just it wasn't being pushed in, it had just been sliced right through. and there wasn't much damage to the wharf, but there was certainly a lot of damage to the ship. So that was him. He was definitely deflated after that, and from then on, the captain was a little bit more canny. But that was just a little one of the many little things that used to happen. So there we are. There's a little story about the Union Trans Tasman.